Alright, let me show you a true duelist VMO. We're playing blind second 8 axis. I'm using a punk engine because it lets me put a level 8 body on field without my opponent controlling a monster. Which was a big problem in this event, as you see my opponent just passed on open board. And then our Ogre Dance gets ashed. Which is fine. I wanted them to ash this so that way my Pot of Desires would go through. And we draw into a Thunderbird. And now Thunderbird plus Punk level 8 is Numeron Dragon, which is OTK. To go to activate Thunderbird, I hit the 1 out of 6. Just call me DZ, and now I no longer have game on board. So I figured I might as well get rid of my dead Beast King Alpha to get a Ziaman on the field, and I'm just gonna pass on Ziaman, so that way when they're on Numeron, I still live. They're not on Numeron, they're on Spright. And they add Gamma Burst. It's interesting choice. They go to Gigantic, and I am completely fine with that. As soon as they go into Gigantic, they lock themselves out of making Zeus. So now, because there's no Link monsters, I mean, the best they can do is Jin Buster pass. Sick. Nice board, dude. So my turn. We draw a Joseph Rothschild. We're gonna summon Alpha, and yeah, this was the only time I ever got Ghost Ogre during the event, and apparently that's just a card counter to Alpha. So yeah, I got owned. Next we're gonna Ogre Dance again to get another Ziaman, normal to Ziaman, and that's gonna get negated, of course. So, and this is so bad. This requires my opponent to control a monster of 2k or more attack. But I'm playing Spright, and they're like physically incapable of doing that. So, best I can do is summon Foxy Tune by tributing Ziaman, just to get a big dude on board, and attack over their Gigantic. And I'll gain back 1600, you know, that's gonna be relevant later, maybe, probably not. They literally could not get over 2900 monsters, so they resorted to tribute summoning Nibiru to attack over my Foxy Tune. You'll never see this happen ever again in Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh yeah, and then we top deck a Lightning Storm because I can't out a Nibiru now. Yeah, and opponent summons, just normal summons Pixies, you know, no follow up, no nothing else, literally just normal summon Pixies. Set what I assume would be a Smashers. Alright, we draw Desires, awesome. Can I draw something playable? I cannot, so we're gonna Lightning Storm their monster again. Yeah, I'm playing quite a lot of Smashing Grounds in my deck apparently. Our opponent has no plays. Alright, I draw Thunderbird. And I think we were both done with this duel at this point. So yeah, I'm gonna just summon the Thunderbird again. Thankfully it didn't hit. And now our opponent's on a 3-turn clock still. And I have 3 cards in deck. And I'm not even sure if I have viable summonable monsters in my deck at this point, so one more turn of Thunderbird beats. And oh no, our opponents drew the out. They drew a settable monster. Now I can't attack the game. It's okay. Apparently I had a 3rd Thunderbird in my deck. Activate all 3 Thunderbirds in my deck in this duel. Go down to 0 cards. And I'm just gonna Kaiju them and get out the Schwarzschild Dragon just in case there's some Man-Eater bug stuff going on. Yeah, that's just the most quality gameplay you'll see. Bricked 8 axis versus Spright that can't out a 2k attack monster. Oh, second replay. We open triple Foxy Tune. You know, the problem with this deck is that it's just too good. Like, Yeah, these are just simply the best cards in my deck. Anyway, our opponent's playing Zoo, goes Dryden set 2. Snore. So anyway, this is why I picked this deck, because this deck absolutely farms Zoodiac. I had a 100% win against Zoodiac during the event. Like, games were not even close. And it was also my most faced matchup, so yeah, I got through it pretty quickly. Anyway, we draw Ogle Poggers. Use Thunderbird. Ditch Alpha. Would rather ditch one of my 3 Foxy Tunes, but you know. Okay, there we go. Now we get the Ogle Poggers out. Opponent does not do anything with her Dryden. Okay, that's a mistake. Now we get the Dingirsu one of their cards for free. And we ban out an Imperm. That's fine. Okay. And I have to state, like, how awful this card has been this event. Like, literally apparently just no decks are putting out 2k attack monsters or more on the field. I have to literally give them a kaiju to make this live. It's so bad. So anyway, because our opponent Impermed our Dingirsu and we're a sack and we drew into Iris Swordsoul, we get to summon the Iris Swordsoul out since we control a negated monster on the field. Next we go into Pain Gainer effect. And yeah, I get Dryden's just gonna pop the Iris Swordsoul, so it actually just did accomplish anything anyways except bait out Dryden, which I guess is fine. There goes their Dryden. Anyway, I'm thinking I want to go into Zeus now because I can't OTK them anymore, but in the case this is an Infirm, like I don't want to like Zeus into like just reuse of Zeus. Because if I have to read that this is an Infirm, I have to waste the Zeus activation on my turn just to get rid of the Infirm, so the Zeus is live on their turn. So what we do is we haven't normal yet, so we go Foxy Tune, get Ziyaman from deck. Ziyaman will get Ogre Dance. And we're not going to summon either of these. We're going to actually pitch the Ogre Dance we just added to get a second copy of Ziyaman. Normal summon the Ziyaman. And we're playing Ghost Trick cards. I did not craft this. This is just one of my free pulls that I never dismantled. So now we get to out the Imperm that they have set. Completely nice. Take minus 600, you know, get Tax Dragon. And now we're free to overlay into Sins. Attack directly. And now we have a 4 Material Zeus that we did not have to waste on the Imperm at the end phase. And now because we're playing against Zoo, like they literally can't you know, once you establish Zeus against Zoo, it's really hard for them to out it. So, contrary to conventional belief, most of my games I win are on the back of grind games after going into Zeus. I rarely OTK during this event, even though I'm playing the Numeron Dragon deck. So, yeah, I don't know what that says about my deck. But anyway, our opponent's playing the Fish Loner deck, and I recognize it because it's playing Generation Force. Just the best card you could be playing. Well, anyway, this is actually a pretty decent board by the Loner deck standards. They get Stealth Kraken. I don't know why they didn't make a second Stealth Kraken though. Like you can control more than one. It's not hard once per turn. Anyway, so because of that, we're gonna Kaiju them, and then we get to summon Ecclesia, which gets us our Iris Swordsoul, the only target in our deck. You know, great deck building. We're gonna go into Galaxy Eye Sultan Lord for Nibiru, and then summon Alpha, get our Ziyaman, and then get our Foxy Tune to summon our Foxy Tune. And this is the only time I ever pulled this off during the entire event, which is versus the Strike Loner deck, Numeron Dragon. Peep the attack points. Yeah, thank you for putting an Xyz on board for me. So yeah, that's gonna be a game. So this is the other. I used 2 decks for the Xyz Festival. One of them was Sharks. I got halfway through with that, and this is the second one I used that I used to finish off the event. And this is honestly probably the closest that an 8-axis build will get to be in budget as it can get, since they ban a lot of the high rarity stuff. So I really resorted to some budget alternatives, like Danger, Ogopogo. The problem with running 8 axes in an event like this, I found, is that more than half the decks you'll face are also blind second decks. So if you win the die roll, well, first of all, if you lose the die roll, you're made to go first, and you can't do anything. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But even if you like win the die roll and you make them go first, like they pass on an open board. And traditionally, with 8 axes is a deck that has like a bunch of stuff like Kaijus or Pankatops or like Alpha, the Master Beast, you know, stuff that require opponents to control a monster in order to do stuff. And because they're also playing blind second decks like Numeron or 8 axes themselves, like they're not going to commit anything to the board. So like half your hand is bricked as well. So I used to run stuff like Mind Control. I used to be running like 3 Mind Control in this deck. If I had Change of Heart, I would have ran Change of Heart, but I cut all that stuff down. I cut down the number of Kaijus. Honestly, I should have cut this card. This was literally never live unless I also opened another Kaiju. And I put in stuff that I put in the level 8 monsters that I could summon without my opponent controlling a monster. So one of those engines was Ecclesia to get Iris Sword Soul. Yes, I'm running a 3-to-1 ratio in a deck with Pot of Desires. Just don't be a coward and it'll work out for you. It's not it's not like I bricked on this like 3 times in a row or something. So, you know. And then another level 8 engine is the Punk engine, where basically any Punk monster gets you a level 8 body on the field without requiring your opponent to control a monster. They banned Bigfoot, so we have to run the 3 Thunderbirds, and this is like, it's so bad that like I would rather run Danger Ogopogo than like stuff like Mind Control and Board Kaijus, because like that stuff was like rarely live, versus at the very least this is a level 8 body I can just summon willy-nilly, you know. And of course, because all of the mainly running 3-ofs, and I just want more monsters that I can summon, Triple Desires, and this is the anti-Labyrinth stuff down here, the anti-Super Factor. I rebooted a Super Factorial the first time in my life. It felt amazing. So yeah, and the funny thing is, you probably, if you want to like play 8 axes for an event, you actually don't need like you don't need Alpha, and you don't need. I chose to run Dogaran because my theory was. So my theory was attack points on the Kaiju does not matter for my opponent. If I'm at the point where I have to attack my Kaiju into my opponent's Kaiju that I gave them, like I've already lost the game. Like we're not considering those scenarios. So instead, I chose the highest attack level 8 Kaijus in Godarwa and Ogaran so that I could summon my alphas. I could summon my alphas more often. You know, because if I give my opponent like a Godarla or a Dogaran, I can go into Dingirsu first, clear their back row, and then still be able to summon alpha after I've cleared their back row. Same with and with Dogaran, I could summon Danger Thunderbird first, so I don't have to like risk reducing my hand size by summoning alpha first. And then I can summon the alpha afterwards because Dogaran's big. But I mean, that's just an extremely minor optimization. Because Gamma Seal works completely fine, it'll be the exact same way. And same with, you also don't need to run the alpha, because like you mainly run the alpha because it's a level 8 body, like you don't really need to use its effect that often, I found. So you could go up to 3 Sword Shield Limit Dragon. Yeah, unfortunately the Iris Sword Soul is kind of necessary if you want to run the Ecclesia package. Like the entire Punk engine is all SRs, like Ogopoggers and N. This stuff is just random staples you own. Like some people have 2 reboots, some people have more copies of Lightning Storm. You can run Twin Twisters. It's honestly fine as well. I'm not running. You could run hand traps too, but I decided to just run more level 8 bodies instead of hand traps because the power level of this event, if you're not playing exactly Utopia, the power level is quite low to the point where I don't need like hand traps to win. Like when half the decks are literally going Trident past turn 1, like I'd rather just have more level 8 bodies and more kaijus to play through their stuff. But yeah, this is a... If you don't have the Ultra, you can run an entire build of like just super rare or under level 8 bodies, and just like fill the rest out with random staples you own. And for the extra deck, this is not necessary. This is not necessary. You run Heart Earth as a Dragoonian target instead. Zeus is necessary, but Zeus is a staple. This is not necessary. The only necessary URs in the extra deck, I would say, are Dingirsu and Numeron Dragon. I mean, Zombie Vampire is nice, but we're not even running Mind Control in the main, so like you don't need this either. You just fill out with whatever random rank 8s you have, and whatever random rank 3s you have. Because fun fact, as I showed you in the replay, Foxy Tune doesn't have to get you a level 8 body. It can also get you a rank 3 by summoning Xiamen, and Xiamen search Ogre Dance, and Ogre Dance gets you another Xiamen. That gives you 2 level 3 bodies on the field if you haven't normaled yet. So that's another way. If you don't have another level 8 to pair with your Punk engine, you can still make an Xyz that can threaten Downward into a 4 material Zeus still. And yeah, as I mentioned, I didn't even really OTK damage to this deck. This is more of like break your opponent's board, then put a Zeus on, and then that's usually enough to win. So yeah, overall, you really only need 3 crucial URs for this deck. So yeah, budget 8 axes. Who'd have thought? Oh yeah, please don't run Ecclesia if you're cutting the Iris Sword Soul. There's other alternatives you can run for. So you could run triple Beast King Barbaros, level 8 normal summon, gets the job done. You know, perfectly viable card for this kind of strategy. Like don't knock it until you tried it. And I'm gonna be honest, I should have ran Beast King Barbaros. This would have performed so much better than Ecclesia. Like the reason normal 8-axis builds run Ecclesia is because they could also tag into Fallen of Albas, which can fuse with your opponent's board. And you know, we can't do that in an Xyz event, so with only target being Iris Sword Soul, oftentimes I just drew the Iris Sword Soul with Ecclesias, and then my Ecclesias literally did nothing. And if they were Beast King Barbaros, I would have been in such a better place. So yeah, right. This is better than Ecclesia, confirmed.